Podcasts. I'm here with my co-host Dylan. How you doing, Dylan?
Good. Thanks for having me again, Chance.
Of course, man. And then our special guests of the day, none other than Karl, Stanley, and Shane Owens. How are you guys?
We're doing good.
Strong.
Man.
I'm strong. That's how I'm doing.
Shane's looking lean and mean.
Yeah, I think Shane's cutting to 209.
I'm actually kind of jealous of that.
No, I'm running to 209. Not cutting. I'm running to 209.
Running. Okay. As Hunter Knopfs goes up, you go down, and you guys swap classes.
Yeah, I mean he already beats me. I might as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, let's start before we get into our event. Like we always start, let's just talk about the King of the Table that just happened like 2 weeks ago now at this point. Karl, I'll start with you. Were you able to watch any of that event?
I was not. That was like the first one I missed.
Okay, no problem. Do you know the results of any? If not, it's fine. No problem.
I don't.
Okay. What about you, Shane?
I did not watch it live. I was that was the same day as the 220 round robin.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my focus that day. But I did go back and watch some of the clips. I think the only surprising one to me was Georgie and Ravaz.
Yeah.
But man, Paul Lynn looks like a monster.
Yeah, he looked crazy.
I did see that, man.
I think result. I know a lot of people said they were shocked by that, but I kind of expected it. But Georgie, that was surprising. That dude looks phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah. Just a 4-0 Ravaz like that, like controllingly, is impressive. I was just on the podcast with Devin and Neil and them, and Devin was saying he thinks Georgie might be as high as number 2 in the world right now after that match. So it's hard to say.
It's hard to say, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to say because when you kill someone, like you don't know, were you just like 5% better or were you 20% better? You know, but yeah, it was definitely impressive. We haven't touched on the 220 round robin, but now that you brought it up, Shane, were there any surprising matches for you there?
Not for me really. I think that obviously I'm going to hype up my teammate Ryan Belanger. I think he shocked a lot of people, but we've been training with him for a year. We kind of have seen how he does against, me, Hunter, Chad, Adam. And so we expected him to go in there and shock a lot of people. So, yeah, he had some solid wins, really solid wins.
Yeah. And so nothing surprised you? You expected Andre to win 11-0?
I knew it. I thought it would come down to Andre and Arson. Okay. I kind of expected them two to be the favorite. I didn't know if he'd go 11-0. But, those two were the favorite going in.
Yeah. See, a lot of people had Brent Rockers, and I was kind of surprised to see him finish towards the middle of the pack there.
After seeing how Adam did with Brent, we had a good game plan for Ryan versus Brent. So, it really wasn't – I kind of expected it. Brent's great, but I think his left hand's better than his right anyways.
Yeah. You're probably right there. Karl, did you watch the 220 round robin?
I did not, but I went. For some reason, I couldn't hear you anymore, Chance, so I had to log out and log back in. But I did watch the match between Paul Lynn and Lachlan, and that was pretty exciting.
Yeah. Did you have a chance to grip up with Paul when he was just down here a couple months ago?
I did not. I wanted to, but every time I looked over at the table, he had the whole crowd there wanting to pull him. So I just took my sore arms and went home afterwards.
Yeah, you had a long day pulling that day.
Man, that Wallace Dillard guy was no joke. I gotta give him credit.
Yeah. Maybe we need to see a rematch at some point. But first, of course, you got to get through this stud in front of you, Shane Owens, coming up from the lightweight category to give you a match.
Yeah, I know. How's that feel to hear that?
Yeah, I'm glad we're finally getting to pull.
Yeah.
It's been a long time coming. We've talked about it a couple times over the past, couple of years. So I'm glad it finally worked out.
Yeah. We're super excited to have you guys. Dylan, did you want to comment on the 220 round robin? I know you saw part of it.
There's a few things I want to comment on, and it actually just popped in my head when you had mentioned rematch with Karl and Wallace. Karl, when you pulled Jerome in the overalls, and you got in an ugly position, dude. I commend you for that. That was awesome. I made a comment on the last podcast that people that can pull without their hand, I just hate them because you think you've won and you've took it, and then you still feel a lot of pressure, and you're just like, what the fuck is happening right now? But the way you came back, that was awesome. The 220 round robin, I actually didn't have Shark to win that one. I actually had Brent to take that one. I did. Shark surprised the crap out of me. And then as far as King of the Table goes, I mean, I felt Paul in on the table. I was telling Paul in privately that I thought he was going to run through Lachlan. People comment on Lachlan's bicep, and it's nothing against Lachlan. Lachlan's a top-tier athlete. I just thought, I was like, there ain't no way a bicep's going to hold Paul in back. And he's fast. He's just fast. I never seen a lot of speed from Lachlan. Congrats, Michael Todd. Awesome to see someone coming back and on their way back up from a devastating injury. And then, hey, Georgie. I disagree with Devin. I don't think he can beat Hermes. I don't think he's quite there. But I think he's better than where he is right now, for sure.
Yeah. Well, just one, like, not that arm wrestling math ever checks out, but you have like Rivas and Vitali had a super close match, and then Vitali and Hermes also had a super close match.
Yeah.
So those three guys are kind of in the same playing field, and for Georgie to go through one of them, I can kind of understand how you think he might go through all of them. I wouldn't put Georgie that high until he does it, but it does like beg the question, like, where does Georgie fall? And now it gives us some excitement, like him and then Alex Kredecha coming back to the supers. It's like, where do those two guys fall?
This is probably a dumb question, but where's Gennady been? Why has he been
So
out for?
Gennady tore his bicep.
Okay.
So hopefully he'll be coming back too, and then he'll be in the picture. I think he's training again. So
Did he tear a distal? Was it from the bottom?
Yeah.
I mean, the science is good, man. Surgeries are good. I know. I had my left foot back on, so and we just seen Michael Todd. He's able to get tight. He's got the press back. So yeah, as somebody at his caliber already, I don't think it'll take him long. Within a year, he'll probably be back, where he was.
Yeah. I think so too.
Hey, Chance, does Alex Kredecha, does he? I know he's a very large human, but does he have a really big hand too?
Yeah. Yes.
Does he? I never see a lot of people speak of his hand, so I was wondering if he actually had a small hand.
No. He has a very big hand. He's a very big guy. I've gripped up with him a couple times. It's just silly. Like, it reminds me that I don't belong in the super heavyweight category. Yeah.
I felt that.
He's actually a giant, like 6 foot. Like, he's Derek's size, and this is no slight to Derek, but he's just an elite, like very put together version of Derek.
Like arm wrestling's Braun Strowman.
Yeah. Like, you don't get much bigger than that. Like, I don't think it's very much like possible to get that much bigger. So, anyways, let's hop into your guys' match and your guys' preparation. Obviously, you're both here from the Southeast. We're very competitive here in the Southeast when it comes to everything, not just arm wrestling. Have you guys ever faced before?
Not that I can.
Not in competition. No,
never.
Not at a tournament or anything. We've rigged up at one practice, I think, but that was like October of last year, I believe. Yeah. So.
And how did that go?
I felt like he was leaving cards on the table. I think I was leaving cards on the table. I don't know how he feels, but I've known the match was coming eventually. So we were both just kind of testing some different lanes, but I don't think you could really gather much from it.
You would agree, Karl?
Yeah, I would agree. That day, I think Shane was pulling even before I got there, and it was, everybody, Ron Bath, John Brezink, Todd Hutchins. I mean, everybody was there, and you just, I think we did pull one of the arms first match, and I'm pretty sure Shane was, the better man that day, for sure.
I was also like 80 pounds heavier. So you really, like I said, there's nothing we could really take away from it. So.
Yeah, after this match, I look forward. I got to start cutting down. I got that 242 round robin at the end of the year in December.
You're hopping in at 242?
Yep, I told myself that was going to be my motivation to start cutting down the weight. Spoke to Taylor. She's going to be my coach. She's just going to have to lay off the cereal at night.
Yeah, man, that's funny, Carl. You're dropping out of supers. I'm dropping out of supers. Brad is dropping out of supers. It seems like Dylan just scared us all or something. I don't know
Oh
what's going on.
God.
What I tell you in Tennessee? I met you and Dylan in Tennessee. I was like, nah, that's a different caliber of human. Y'all, we ain't got the same frame. I was like, I'm just gonna go down there and play with the guys my size.
Yeah. That's funny. All of Florida supers are just disappearing. We're going to be a strong 242 state, that's for sure. Shane, let's go back to you. You guys have known about this match now for a couple months, so you've had plenty of time to establish a training camp. Did you adjust your training at all for Karl, or did you just continue on the same path that you were on before? And what did that path look like?
Yeah, so I can't really say I've ever done a training camp. Our team, we just practice every week and we just go hard every week and then look forward to competition so we can take a couple weeks off to rest and feel healthy again. So, I mean, that's pretty much haven't really changed nothing. I've got good hookers, good top rollers, and good pressers, on my team. So I just kind of pull it every style every week and take a chance to take a break and feel healthy and compete. So yeah, I can't say I changed anything other than my diet. I started cutting in December, and about 6 weeks ago, I started eating at maintenance. I want to go lower, but I'll be giving up quite a few pounds to him already. And somebody like Karl, you don't want to give up a pound to anyways. So about 6 weeks ago, I switched to maintenance to try to gain some of that power. If I lost any power, just to try to gain some of that back or maintain what I could going into it. I didn't want to go into the match in a deficit. But as far as training, no, nothing changed.
So you say nothing changed. Does that just mean you've just been on the table once a week and that's it? Or are you in the gym as well?
No, I'm just on the table once a week, and I do like pull-ups, push-ups at the house, and some cardio. That's about it. I don't really hit the weights or anything. I used to, and then after I tore my bicep off, I kind of got out of the gym and hadn't been back into it. Plan to, but you know how that goes.
Yeah. I've been planning on getting back into the gym my whole life. So
yeah,
I know how that feels. Karl, we'll go to you. Same question.
Yep.
You've known about this match for a couple months now. Did you adjust your training at all for Shane?
The craziest part about just this whole year as a pass, I've probably been more injured this year between both arms, but have pulled less on the table. Like as far as practicing, like before I moved to where I'm at now, which is coming up on the 2-year mark, I used to practice like every Thursday and things like that. And now it's kind of like between me and Daniel Worley, we're both, injured all the time. It's like I've been less training on the table and been more injured in the sport than I ever have. But I've hit some of my like strongest, weights in the gym this past year. Getting up to close to 500 pounds on the bench and stuff. So it's kind of been like a crazy thing. I mean, I do have Daniel Worley that is very good at being technical. My only problem is I'm one of those guys that don't always apply what I'm learning in a practice to the table. I kind of just go with it that day. So, but I mean, I do have something like Daniel, and then Artem close to, and Team Jacksonville. That's one thing that's going to change after this match is getting back on the weekly practice for me. I feel like that's been a big part of the reason why I'm not sustaining some of these matches and getting hurt. So it's kind of ruined some things for me, but I feel good right now. I know Shane is very strong inside. I've the footage that I've watched. I mean, Paul Walter, with Paul Passmore and everything, he's strong inside. So I kind of like want to test that power and see where I'm at with him, and then there's the be smart and kind of maybe attack differently. But I haven't really necessarily changed my training other than stay.
Okay, so you haven't changed your training, but it sounds like you have done your research and watched Shane's matches. Obviously, you just said you want to test power for power where you're at, but do you have a game plan in case that fails?
Yeah. What's your game plan?
Well, I do have game plans. I like to say, as far as my right arm goes, I can be a little bit more versatile than my left. I mean, everybody knows me for my press on my left, but I mean, on my right can, I can hook, I can press if I need to, I can top roll. So, I do have different, attack plans that I plan on doing if something does not work for me. So,
Okay. Yes. So back to you, Shane. Obviously, you just heard Karl wants to test power for power. If that were to go Karl's way, do you have an adjustment where you feel you have a plan B or plan C?
Nah, man, I only pull in a hook, only inside in a hook. That's all I got.
Okay. Are you being 100% honest right now? I have a feeling that there's a little
Yeah,
bit of
yeah, man. That's all I can do is hook. I have no top roll whatsoever. None.
okay.
I don't think I've ever beat anybody in a top roll. Now that I think about it, I don't think I've ever top rolled anybody.
So you're
I mean,
telling
he
me
was been all hook, but so I can't deny that he ain't,
Yeah, it's
it doesn't mean
inside.
so.
so if
I
round
fully
one,
expect. I've been watching. I mean, like I said, I've known the match was coming for a while. It was inevitable, and I see that he's versatile. He pulls top roll, hook, or press, whatever he needs at any given time. So I fully expect to pull 3 different Karls come Saturday.
yeah,
Round one, if it goes my way, if it goes inside and goes my way, I fully expect him to do something different the second round. If it goes my way again, he'll do something different the third round. That's one thing you say about Karl Stanley. He don't lose 3 matches the same way all 3 times. He's going to try something different every time. So, yeah, I'm just going to hook you, Karl. That's what I'm going to do.
so round one, Karl tests it in a hook. He pins you. What does round two look like?
I guess I'm in for a bad day. If Karl goes inside and pins me in a hook, I'm in for a bad day.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna try the same thing, just harder.
That's always a good plan. Just do it harder and try to focus your muscles a little harder.
Yeah,
Right?
maybe a little faster.
Real quick, I just want to go over. I got a super chat from your boy Ryan Bull Bellinger. He says, "Not only is Shane better looking at this weight, he's stronger." Karl, I love you, brother, but I'd hate to be across the table from Shane on Saturday. Hashtag Carolina Chaos versus the world.
Respect. I don't disagree on the looks. I'm an ugly son of a B.
Yeah. I'm not gonna argue with you there, Karl. You might have to talk to Taylor for a compliment.
Yeah.
Just don't let her go to the eye doctor.
That's great. Dylan, is there anything you wanted to ask these two about their match before we move into the card?
No, man, you do a pretty good job covering it. I like to see if people might switch up their training styles because I mean, me, just from a competitive background of different various sports and powerlifting and bodybuilding, like I'll look at someone, I'll see how they pull, and I will specifically train just for that individual. I'll change lifts, I'll change everything just to be stronger. Where like people coach me like, hey, this is what you're going to have to do to beat a press. Or this is what you're going to have to do to beat a hook and not get hooked in. So I'll train specifically not to be able to allow them to put me in that position if I'm going into a match.
Yeah, a lot of times I'm the same way. I might try to adjust my training for someone specifically. Like I'm pulling against Ibrahim Sagov July 6th. He's only all he has is this rolling press. So I know exactly what's going to come. And so I need to adjust for it. I would have loved to be able to train with you, Karl, like leading into that match. But obviously we can't be training hard when you have a match of your own coming up. So anyways, yeah.
But real quick, it's hard to do that with somebody like Karl because you can watch 3 videos of him pulling 3 different people and he's going to beat them 3 different ways.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like, if we was pulling left-handed, yeah, I probably would have focused a lot on the flop wrist press. But with it being right-handed, all you can really do is just try to train to be versatile in what he's going to bring because he's going to bring versatility. So.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to discredit the power there, but just being truthful.
I said whatever I feel on that day is usually what happens in that match. There's been times I tell myself going to a match, this is what I need to focus on, this is what I need to do. And that can all go out the window for me just feeling something different in a setup, man.
Yeah.
It's just
Setup can change a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. As far as super heavyweights go, Carl's probably one of the most versatile that we have in North America.
And
Um,
fast too, real fast.
yeah, very fast. Actually, before we move on to the rest of the card, just in case there are some people watching that aren't familiar with you, Carl, let's start with you. If you could just introduce yourself, let us know how long you've been arm wrestling, and kind of list off some of your accolades.
Got in the sport back in 2005. I was 16, turning 17. Todd King introduced me to the sport. That's a local legend here in the state of Florida. Introduced me to the sport. Like I said, next year, 20th year in the sport. I've won a couple national titles. Been to IFA Worlds, played second both arms there. Got some big wins on some big time pullers. And just hopefully right now prime with the East versus West happening and Florida Arm Wrestling League and all these big things going on. This is exciting times for the sport. I'm still relatively young at 36 when it comes to the sport, but I've been pulling for almost 20 years. I still have kind of that old school mentality with some of these guys, right? So just to see where the sport has gone in the 20 years that I've been here, it's very exciting times, and I hope to get up on one of those East versus West cards eventually, because I do feel like that is our biggest grand stage right now in wrestling.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. I think it is the biggest stage, and the Challenger Series is a great way to get recognized and get eyes on you from guys like Engin Terzi. So it's definitely a good opportunity. Carl, can you list a couple of your biggest wins?
I got wins on Jerry Catterat left-handed. Chris Chandler back when Chris Chandler was the guy. Tom Nelson back when Tom Nelson was the guy when we were both 220. Wilton Brock. Travis Bagent. I got a win on you, back before you took off and became the monster you are.
You're 1-0 against me in a super match, so
I am. I got wins on Brad Gundy. So yeah, I mean, I got some big wins to be accomplished or feel accomplished with, but that I want more. So
yeah. We all always want more. That's what makes us athletes, and that's what keeps us hungry. Shane, what about you? Introduce yourself.
Yeah, man, I'm from South Carolina. I started arm wrestling in 2019. Was real lucky that when I looked up arm wrestling on Facebook, I found out there was a practice down the road in Spartanburg, and it just so happened to be Carolina Chaos. So pretty lucky to have 45-minute drive to practice with, Chad Silvers, Matt Harris, Fritz Corey, Adam Warzinski, Hunter Knobs. I mean, the list just goes on. They've been putting out killers from that camp since the 90s. So I was lucky with that. About 6 months in to arm wrestling at my second amateur tournament, I did break my right arm. Came back from that 11 months later. And from that point on, I started pulling pro tournaments, and I've got some decent wins. I've got some losses too. As far as super matches, I don't have as much experience as Karl. I don't have as much experience, period, 20 years versus 5. But I've pulled, I beat Paul Walther. I did get the opportunity to go to the Shaw Classic last year and pull Vitalis Lawless, and I got the win on him. I did lose to Paul Passmore. I think me and Karl both have losses to Paul Passmore. So as far as common opponents between the two of us, we both lost to Paul Passmore. We both beat Paul Walther. And I would say the most recent common opponent would be Craig Pumphrey. I think you had a war with him. Like that ended up being like 3-2 or something. I think 3-1, 3-2.
ended up losing 3-1 on that. I got the first win. The second one was a war, and by the third time, I mean, it was just. But
I snuck up on him in a tournament. He had no clue who I was. I'm still relatively unknown, so kind of snuck up on him in a tournament. I wasn't even planning on pulling, but he was there, so I jumped in the bracket and was lucky enough to get the win on him. But as far as like biggest names, it would be Paul Walther, Craig Pumphrey, Vitalis Lawless, stuff like that. I did come down to Florida. I know Travis hates hearing it, but I did come down to Florida and pull a tournament that Travis jumped in. And I didn't get to pull him because he didn't make it long before he was out. But he ended up like 5th, and I won that tournament. So
nice.
I like to rub that in. every now and then. I mean, yeah.
Got into the sport. I want to say Chad Silver's, Todd Cisco, and all of them were a team for like out of like the Carolina area. Because they used to come up to the Florida States, Jacksonville, Mudville Grill every year, and they used to have their red jerseys and all that. And I was like 10 years old. Chad Silver,
Carl, you're cutting in and out a little bit. It might because it's echoing off your phone.
Okay, my bad.
No worries. I just wanted to let you know so we didn't miss half of everything you said, you know.
Yeah, I was just is that better? Can you hear?
Yeah.
I was just saying when I got into the sport back in 05, Chad Silvers and Todd Hutchins and all of them were a team out of South. I thought it was South Carolina, but maybe it was North Carolina.
No, South Carolina.
Okay, and they had a pretty dang good team back then. And
Yeah, that was Matt Harris, Chad Silvers, Fritz Corey, Todd Hutchins.
right,
Yeah, they had killers, man. Like I said, that team's. I was lucky. I mean, really, to get into the sport and have them right down the road. Yeah, real lucky.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and let's move into all of the rest of the matches on the card. A lot of exciting matches. Obviously, we have 15. It's going to be a long day of arm wrestling. Super excited for it. Karl, I'll start with you. Dane Sellers versus Ahmed. You obviously know Dane. Do you know who Ahmed is?
So I kind of was trying to do a little bit of research on some of these guys. I know most of them, but there are some that I don't know. The Achman guy, one of them I don't know, but I do know how powerful Dane Sellers is. So with that being said, I'm going with Dane Sellers on this match just because I'm not familiar with the other opponent.
Yeah, fair enough. Shane, what do you think?
I don't know either one. I've watched video on both. I've tried to do a little bit of homework on this card. I think Ahmed would be the favorite going in from experience, but I do think that Dana's strong enough and has a lane. If I had to bet money, I would put it on the favorite being Ahmed. But I think Dane Sellers has a chance.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Shane. What do you think, Dylan?
Power versus experience. I mean, we've seen Dane and them going back and forth on lists with each other, posting on social media, and Dane's obviously the stronger one of the two, but Dane, I don't know how fast Ahmed is, and I know Dane sometimes will catch, and if Dane catches, he is going to lose 3-0 badly. I hope Dane's changed some things. I hope he hits hard and gets in his position and gets tight. If it goes inside, I'll give Dane 3-0, but if Dane can't control Ahmed top roll, then it's going to be Ahmed 3-0.
Yeah, fair enough. The next match, just a score. That's all I want from you, Karl. Carl Stanley, Shane Owens.
I'm going to say myself 3-1.
Okay, Shane.
3-0.
For.
Well, you said you just wanted the score.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. For who?
3-0.
All right. 3. Okay. Fair enough. Dylan, what do you think?
3-1, and it depends on who gets to their spot. It really is. You've got Karl that can pull in 3 very versatile spots and be very strong in those. And his downfall is that I've noticed, and Karl can correct me on, but he'll lose his wrist sometimes. Where Shane is one lane, but very strong in that.
And we lost Dylan.
I wasn't sure if we lost him or lost me.
Back.
Oh, you're back. Sorry.
And can Shane set his position? So it's just kind of how good can Karl keep his wrist, and how fast can Shane set his position? 3-1. I don't know.
3-1. I'm going 3-2. Slight edge to Karl, but really it could go either way. One of the few matches, in my opinion, that could be match of the night. That's
will be.
Yeah, that's my honest opinion. There's a few that might contest it, but it's going to be interesting.
Are we like the only two only North Americans pulling? Is that why? Or are they?
No, there's a couple North American versus North American.
Okay.
Yeah. Like the next match, for example, is 2 North Americans. Robbie Karstendijk, John Therian. Karl, are you familiar with these guys?
I am with John, and that's who I picked to win 3-0. I don't know much about the other puller.
Okay. So a little bit about Robbie's from Louisiana. He's been to King of the Table. He pulled Coach Ray and lost 4-1 or 5-1. He pulled Frode Hogland and Arm Wars, and he won, I think it was 3-0, if I'm not mistaken.
That's an impressive.
Yeah, it's a very big win. Robbie's typical downfall is his hand is not that good, and he's not that good in the setup. But if it goes inside, he can bang with almost anyone in that weight class.
I feel like I've seen kind of two versions of John Therian too, though.
Yeah.
Like I've seen some really like pumped up, like explosive, and then not so much. So I feel like what version of John Therian pulls up, and if he does show up the way I know he can, then I pick him to win 3-0.
Okay, fair enough. Shane, what do you think?
I think it's another power versus experience. I think John's the more technical puller. I think he's got more lanes. If you're making me pick a favorite, I think John. I got to go with John Therian.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you a score. That's a toss-up, but
you could tell me a score.
3-2. But yeah, no, I think I got to pick John.
Okay, Dylan.
John Therian 3-1.
All right. You know what? I'm gonna also lean towards John. He's been looking very, very good. He beat Artem most recently. He has wins on like Robbie Russell. He had a super match with Robbie Russell. Robbie won, but John was able to take a round, cracking Robbie's hand. I mean, John is very good, very versatile, very fast. And if the best version of him shows up, I think Robbie's in trouble. However, if Robbie turns it inside, I will favor Robbie on the hook. Like power for power, Robbie wins it. Next match we have George Whitfield, Eli Sidov. What do you think about this, Karl?
So I think I do know both these pullers. Definitely give Eli the experience. I think this is a big opportunity for George to prove who George Whitfield is. So I do. I'm going with George on this one, but this could be a 3-2 either way, in my opinion.
Yeah. What do you think, Shane?
After seeing them at the round robin, my head says Eli. Obviously, he did get the win on George, even though that was close, man. I think George might have even pinned him before the foul. So, but I did see George's gas tank deplenish towards the end of that round robin. But that's also 12 rounds versus 3 or versus 5. So my head says Eli. My heart says George. George Whitfield, let's go 3-1.
All right. Dylan.
After seeing George at my big practice that I held, he looked very good. He pulled a lot of people, didn't seem to be getting tired. So I think his endurance has improved a little bit. If he keeps that elbow down, he wins in a war, but it's 3-1.
Okay. See, this is one of the other matches, in my opinion, that has the potential of match of the night. Eli's very versatile, but I don't see it going anywhere else other than a hook. I think it's going to be hook on hook. It's going to be back and forth. The biggest question for me is if George can keep his elbow down. If George continuously elbow fouls and we see 10 different starts, George's gas tank, even though it looked better last time we saw him at the practice Dylan's talking about, I still think that Eli's is going to be superior. So 50-50. Eli's the favorite on paper, but of course I'm rooting for the Florida boy, George Whitfield. Next match we have is another Florida boy, Matt King, taking on Vios Anthulis. What do you think about this, Karl? Have you ever pulled Matt?
I'm trying to think. I don't think we've ever been in the same class. I mean, maybe in the overalls, but if I have, it's been a long time since I've pulled back. But I know how strong Matt is, and I know like going to a lot of these Florida events and seeing him pull. His class is always like the most stacked class, right? Like the 198, the 205, 210 class. So I don't know the other puller. This is one of the other guys I really don't know much about. Florida boy, I'm going with Matt King. So I don't have a score for that one, but I'm rooting for Matt on that one.
Fair enough. What do you think about this match, Shane?
It's Vios, right?
Yeah, Vios.
Yeah, he's the one that has a win on Vitali.
No, on Prudnik.
Prudnik,
Yeah.
left hand.
Left hand, correct.
They're pulling right hand.
Correct.
Matt has a good hand. Not real familiar with Vios. Then I'll go with Matt. I want to see him break out and have a good showing.
Yeah, yeah. Dylan.
It's going to be a battle of the center on that one. I mean, Biles has got some massive wins. He brings energy that I don't think Matt's ever seen across the table. And I don't think Matt's ever experienced a fight in the setup that he'll experience with Bios from the videos I've seen. But I don't think Bios has met a hand like Matt's. And whoever wins that center, it's going to go 3-0 one way or the other.
Okay.
I do match that Matt King can like put his name out there, like
yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'll say on
I
paper.
mean, I'm rooting for Matt King, but it's going to go 3-0 one way or the other.
Yeah, yeah. I think on paper, Vios has to be the favorite. I mean, if you have a win on Prudnik any arm at any point in history, you're probably the favorite against most people. He has super match wins against like Vlad the Destroyer. He has wins against like the Lithuanian champion Saulius Abromaitis, which most people probably don't know. But Vios is consistently competing at a very, very high level, and Matt is just getting into the scene where he's competing against other athletes at a high level. Obviously, his biggest win is Artem Taranenko, who he beat at Florida State pretty convincingly, which Artem is looking incredible. So that's a very big win for Matt. If I'm betting Vios, but I'm rooting for Matt, of course. We have to root for the Florida guys as Florida guys, right? If Karl, if I catch you like rooting against one of the Florida guys, you're like kicked out. You're going home with Shane.
Does Shark count?
Shark. I don't know if Shark counts because first
That means
he's
no.
Russian, and then he's
Shark. You don't count.
And then he's from Florida. Like
That means no, Shark. You don't count.
it's like he's like half Floridian.
It's kind of like Artem.
Yeah, kind of like Artem. Yeah, Artem is only half Floridian too. That's fair, right?
Yeah.
We'll head into the next match. Obviously, someone that both of you are familiar with. It's going to be Paul Passmore versus Ahmed. Shane, I know you don't know Ahmed, but what do you think of Paul Passmore?
I've watched video on Ahmed. Yeah, I mean, Paul's a stud. I mean, when it comes to I would say inside pulling, he's phenomenal. His side pressure is insane, but Paul doesn't even need his hand to do it. So I think that Ahmed's going to be forced low, and he's going to be forced lower than he wants to be because Paul, Karl, I don't know about you, but it seemed like Paul's thumb was non-existent. He can hide his thumb so well. Ahmed's going to be broke all the way down in the start, and I think Paul's just going to chop him straight down. It's just too much power. Paul Passmore, 3-0.
All right, what do you think, Karl?
I agree. Paul 3-0. I think Paul's one of probably the most underrated North American pullers. I mean, now 242 or supers. I will say he's kind of, he's dealt with some injuries and stuff too, right? In the past, he's kind of like a one-lane powerhouse guy. He kind of reminds me of Dickie Spearoff, left-handed, right? Dickie Spearoff had that one hook tag move, and if it was very hard to beat him into it, but if Paul ever became a very versatile outside puller as well on that, he could be, one of the top guys in North America, any weight. But I do think he has too much power, and it's good to see him down at the 242s and be just as strong as he is in the supers, and I have him 3-0.
Okay. What do you think, Dylan?
If Paul can set it inside, it's Ahmed's in for a bad day. But I don't know. I don't know Paul enough to say, can he pull without his hand?
He can.
He can.
Okay, he can.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's as strong as everyone's saying he is, then I'm going to edge it towards Paul for sure. And I'm not sure that Paul might look better on paper, too, with some of his accolades with who he's beat.
Yeah, I mean, Paul's biggest win would be Corey West. And Ahmed does not have a win like Corey West, but Ahmed does have the experience of pulling like WAF and Europeans and high level pullers all the time, guys that we probably wouldn't be familiar with, but that are high level. Yeah. I think it's a great match. For me, it's 50-50. I favor Paul slightly, but I wouldn't be that surprised if Ahmed came in and did something impressive, because when you're used to competing at that high level, you're able to pull off high level things like that. So I'm
won 2 matches, right?
Sorry,
Ahmed's got 2 matches, right?
correct. Left-handed he's pulling Dane, and then right-handed he's pulling Paul.
So that might factor in a little bit, right? With his pulling. I'm sure he's pulling Dane first, so
yeah,
I think that's the first match. So
yep. They have 5 matches between. I had Ahmed on last night. I asked him what, does he think that'll affect him? And he said it won't affect him at all. Endurance is his specialty. So
What about the adrenaline dump though?
that's what I thought. But yeah, because it's not always about you used up your energy. Sometimes when you peak and then dip, it's hard to get peaked up again. And he nothing against Dane, but he probably has his harder match in Paul. So if he adrenaline dumps on Dane, then it'll be even tougher. But before we move into the next match, I've been meaning to find this clip and show this clip. I wanted to show how Vios is in the setup, just because I don't think a lot of people understand the energy that he brings to the table. And we were talking about him, but I wasn't fast enough to pull it up. So this is him against Saulius. So just a little bit of setup. It's going to be very difficult. He's funny. He's just yelling in the other dude's face. At one point, he grabs his hand and he just starts doing this to his opponent. And to me, that's totally not cool at all, but it's also hilarious to watch as a spectator. And I'm scared for Matt on that. Next match we have is a match that I'm really excited for. It's 231 left-handed Wilton Brock, Matt Mask. Karl, you've got to pull Wilton. Have you pulled Matt as well?
I've never pulled Matt Mask ever.
Okay.
But I might surprise people with this one. I think Wilton wins this match 3-0.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. You think it's very easy?
Well, here's the thing. Wilton's got that lane, and obviously if he doesn't get in that lane, then that could definitely go the other way. But Wilton's very, outside of Florida, not many people know him. And he's a very strong guy, and I could see that his style giving problems to Matt Mask. Matt Mask's other match, right-handed is different for me, but the left-hand match versus Wilton, I have Wilton winning it.
Fair enough. What do you think, Shane? Are you familiar with Wilton?
I've pulled Wilton before, not in competition, but in practice. I've obviously never met Matt Mask. I think Matt Mask is the favorite when it comes to popularity and maybe on paper. But Wilton's going to shock a lot of people. That dude is insanely strong.
Yeah.
I don't know how serious he's been taking training since October, but I met him at the same time I pulled with practice with Karl and them at Paul Passmore's house in October, and that dude's a powerhouse. Left-handed, it's a left-handed match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's probably one of the quietest guys you'll ever meet in your life.
I would like to see Wilton win that one.
Okay. Dylan, what do you think?
Like I said on the other podcast, I hear a lot about Wilton Block. He's like a mythical creature. He just shows up, beats a lot of people, and then goes back into hiding forever. And then Matt Mask, pulling all the time. So how much does it hurt when you take off so much time? Like, the experience is going to go to Matt, but everyone says just how powerful Wilton is. But I got to go with what I know and not what I hear, so I'll choose Matt on this one.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had the pleasure of meeting both of these guys on multiple occasions. I've never pulled against either of them left-handed, and my left isn't very good anyway, so it's hard to gauge guys at their caliber. But I do believe this match could go either way, and I have a feeling it could go either way 3-0. So I don't really see Matt hitting his lane and Wilton beating that, and I don't see Wilton hitting his lane and Matt beating that. So for me, it's 50-50, but I do believe regardless of the outcome, it could look one-sided. It's just hard to know which direction. Next match we have is Patrick Berg, Hunter Knopfs. Karl, I'll start with you. What do you think of this match?
I was actually talking to Daniel Worley today about this match. Worley actually pulled this Patrick Berg guy, back in the lighter days. I watched some videos on him. He looks pretty strong. Look, I'm probably going to go on a hook, and I just right now Hunter is just on fire, and I just don't see him slowing down anytime soon. So my pick is Hunter, and it could be wars, but I still think 3-1, 3-0 for Hunter.
Fair enough. Shane, the most unbiased guy.
I'm going to shock you with this one. Hunter Knopfs 3-0. The dude is a killer. It's not going to be close. Hunter Knopfs crushes everybody on our team every single practice. We can't stop him. We can't do anything with him. It's going to be 3 seconds worth of 3 matches. Hunter Knopfs, let's fucking go.
Wow, you think Patrick is able to slow Hunter down for a full second?
It's going to be maybe. I'm giving him some credit there. I can't slow him down for a second. So I'm giving Patrick Berg credit just because he's European.
Okay, fair enough. Dylan, how do you see this match going?
Just because Shane's on here, I'm gonna go Patrick 3-0. No, I'm kidding. I'm gonna get on the hype train too, because I did get to see Hunter pull. I've seen him take the 154s, the 176s, and you got to go with the guy that's on fire right now. So
the kid doesn't lose.
I'm gonna go with
the kid does not lose, man.
Unless you're Eli Seidov. So the next thing that I would say is I believe that this match is one of the possible matches of the night. I know you don't think so, Shane, but Patrick, I don't think is going to struggle with speed. I don't believe the hit is going to catch him off guard. I think it's going to get sunk into the hook, and I think it's going to be a grinder. I would like to see Hunter win, but in my eyes, this is his very first big international test in a super match format. So it's going to be interesting to see if Hunter can live up to his hype that he has around him in North America, or if the European is going to be able to stop that. So I'm really interested in this one. Next match we have is Gabriel from Italy versus Robbie Russell from Tennessee. This is at 209. Karl, what do you think of that match?
Another guy that I don't know. Robbie Russell, I do know, who's very strong inside, and I feel so. If Robbie can get in his lane, I have to go with Robbie. But just like y'all mentioned earlier, all these different Europeans, we have no idea. If we don't know them, we have no idea what they're bringing to the table. We just know they're good. So this is just me rooting for Robbie and knowing how strong he is inside.
Yeah, fair enough. Shane, are you familiar with these guys?
Very familiar with Robbie. Obviously, Robbie's competed against a few of my teammates a few times. So watched a ton of tape, met him a bunch of times. Great dude, very strong, very smart technical puller, multiple lanes. I would say if he has a weakness, it would be a fast top roller. Like Craig Toulier got him. But people forget that Robbie beat Craig not too long ago also. I know the most recent win is Craig over Robbie, but I think Robbie beat Craig down in like Alabama or Louisiana or something like that. So Gabriella or Gabrielle, however you say his name's from Italy, so you know he's a top roller. He's going to be fast because he's European. It could be close, but I got to trust in that Tennessee power, the beast of the East, Robbie Russell, 3-1.
All right. What do you think, Dylan?
If it goes inside Robbie 3-0, if Robbie cannot contain that fast top roll and gets into his hand, then Gabriel, right?
Gabriel.
Gabriel, 3-0. So I think this is one of those matches that can go 3-0 and quickly. I don't see it being much of a grinder, to be honest with you.
Okay. So I see this match. Unfortunately, I see this match going into Gabriel's favor. I only say unfortunately because I'm always rooting for the North Americans, but I do think Gabriel gets up 2-0 and then he messes around. He lets Robbie set his position and he realizes that he cannot move it at all. And if he makes that mistake and Robbie is able to gas him out enough, that might be the turning tide for him. I believe if it stops and if it stops anywhere where Robbie has any sort of purchase, that Robbie can win from pretty much whether it's here or here. It doesn't matter as long as he gets in his position. So it's really interesting. I have to favor Gabriel on paper, but yeah, I hope Robbie proves me wrong. Next match we have is 231 left-handed match between Andrei Sharkovich and Emil Ekstrom. Karl, what do you think of that match?
And I almost want to hear what you think first.
Want to hear what I think? No, I go last.
Just like I mentioned with Hunter, I feel like Andre's on another level right now. But I mean, this could be very close too as far as styles go. But just watching Andre, what was the 220 round robin, and then the last event that we had at the qualifiers, I think he pulled Jerome Loud that day.
Yep, he beat Jerome that day.
That was very impressive to me, and I just feel like Andre's on another level right now. So I do think it could be a grinder, though. It could be a 3-2. Then it comes down to stamina, endurance, and things like that. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a 3-1 Andre.
Fair enough. What do you think, Shane?
If it was right hand, 3-0 Andre, easy day. But it's left-handed, correct?
Yeah, left-handed.
I favor Emil in that one.
Yeah.
3-1.
Okay, 3-1. Do you envision the match playing out a certain way in your head, or are you not sure?
Andre can pull multiple ways. Also, he's one of those guys that has different lanes. I know his left's strong. I pulled his left. Andre beat me left-handed in Florida. We slipped, went to the strap, and I hit him over, and that dude just pulled me right back up. Just strong, man, strong left-handed. But I just got to give it to Emil.
Right.
I think it'll be a different lane each time.
Now, I will say on that one, I did not realize it was left hand, and I do think that makes this match a lot closer than what it was for the right.
Yeah. I kind of I agree that if it was right-handed, that Andre would be a very heavy favorite. Being that it's left-hand, I think Andre's close in his arms, but Emil is way better left-handed than he is right-handed. So, to me, it's a very close match. What do you think, Dylan?
Like I've stated before, if Emil is where he was when I pulled him when I very first got into the sport, and seeing what he did with some other guys, I would lean towards Emil heavily. There's a height train between Sharp, but right now it's right-handed. How much has that taken from his left-hand training? But they also both, if you watch some of their videos, they both got a low-hand top rolling style to them. So who's been working on their riser more? Who can gain that top ground quicker? So I'm going to go, I'm going to go Sharp 55-45. I don't know the score, though.
All right. Emil 3-0.
Because I don't know if Emil is back to if we gave him enough time to get back to where I know he can be.
I feel like I'll know really when I pick him up from the airport and I see his if he put on the size he needed to. Because when he was here 2.5 months ago, he was 210, 215, and this match is.
I was scared to death because we were pulling left-handed because just a few things. I won't say anything, but to help for Shark, and I was scared then. But now he started putting a lot of videos out and some of his lifts, and he is much, much stronger now.
He sent a picture of the scale in the group chat. It was like 108 point something. That means he's like 239. So he went from being 15, 20 pounds underweight to now he's overweight and has to cut. So
You better be careful. You'll end up with a hairline like me.
Didn't he pull Brandon Elsesser at your event?
Yeah, that was at the UBU Fit Expo, and he very easily beat Brandon. Yeah. And then after he beat Brandon, he hopped into class. He beat Alex, Schoolboy's brother, and his class won the class undefeated. Then in overalls, he beat Artem and Chris Chandler. Undefeated the whole day. Super match class overalls. He looked really, really good that day. And if he's in that shape or better, I don't know.
What was his weight in that?
And that he was walking around like 225, 230. Yeah.
So he's eating bigger now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I favor Emil.
Yeah, I think Emil's going to come in scary. I hope.
Or Emil. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I'd pronounce Emil's not right, and neither is Emil, so it doesn't. Yeah, it's okay. We'll move into the next match. It's another left-handed match at 95 kilos. Vios Anthoulis versus Brent Rockers. What do you think, Karl?
Well, again, that's another guy that has a match the same day, right? That's the one versus Matt King.
Yep.
That's the one you showed us. I mean, ooh, man. I mean, Brent Rockers has been around forever as far as I've been pulling. I mean, he looks exactly the same. The guy has not aged, and he's as strong as ever and incredible shape. I don't think he ever takes time off training. So, but I mean, what arm is stronger for Brent? Is it right or is it left?
Left.
His left is better, and Vios's left is better. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, a 3-2 could go either way.
Yeah, that's fair. It is a hard match to call. Shane, what do you think?
You said 95 kilo?
Yeah.
So it's like what, 209, 210, something like that?
209.
Yeah, I think Brent walks around basically at that weight, but like 2% body fat. That dude is insane physique. Big dude for that weight. Left hand, that's his better arm. He's ranked number 1 left-handed.
Yep.
In North America.
Yep.
In North America. Great match for him. I hope he wins it. He's been around for a long time. I know since the early 2000s, and at the top of North America for that whole time. So, yeah, I hope Brent wins it.
Okay. What do you think, Dylan?
What I'm about to say is based on practice, so don't boo me, everybody. But I hooked up with Brent when he came to Florida, left-handed. Brent, very powerful inside, and if he gets that downward supination pressure. But if you have a strong riser, I was able to get the better of him. And Vios is a violent top roller, left-handed. So knowing what I know, if Vios gets any purchase on that hand, Brent's in for a bad day, but I am rooting for Brent because I really liked him when I met him.
Yeah. I think Vios has the potential of flash pinning Brent 3 times in a row, and we have like no match to go off of. But I don't think that necessarily means that it's not an even match, because if Brent is able to stop it and get into his power, I think that Brent has the capability of winning the match. I'm just scared that Vios, like Dylan said, is going to have too much outside and he's going to be too fast. But we'll see. I'm hoping it's very close. But if I was a betting man, I'd take Vios 3-0.
Well, like Karl said, that's Vios is pulling 2 matches.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen the video. He's going to be super hyped on that first match. You know, somebody that pulls like that's not going to go into the first match holding anything back. So I think that's another one that an adrenaline dump could come into play.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll have to see how he handles it. Hopefully the few people that are pulling both arms, they handle it well, and we get to see 2 entertaining matches. And the last thing I want to see is 1 entertaining match and then 1 they're so tired they can't even pull right. You know, that's no one wants to see that. So hopefully it's not the case, but it very possibly could be. Next match we have is another left-handed match, super heavyweight left-handed match between Cody Merritt and Eric Falgren. Carl, I know that you've pulled Cody. Are you familiar with Eric at all?
I've watched some footage of him. What's that guy who presses left-handed?
Camille?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is probably one of the most exciting matches I'm excited about on the card. It being a left-hand match and, supers. I'm going to go Cody. I think Paul Passmore said it. Cody has that angle, that lane that's just so hard to beat. Although that East versus West, he did lose in a hook match, I think
Yeah, so
well,
Cody lost against Morozov, and then he lost against Alajan, and then he
Right.
lost against Camille. But those are 3 of the top 5 guys in the world,
Right.
So it's like,
yeah.
Who wouldn't lose to him?
yeah, exactly.
Cody, he has that one angle. I'm going to favor Cody 3-2, but then also what's the endurance factor in this match,
Yeah.
right? But this is one of the most exciting matches I'm looking forward to on the card.
Yeah. Shane, what do you think?
Cody's got the weight advantage, probably the experience advantage. He's a WAF champion, and he's from America, USA. Let's go, Cody Merritt.
Okay. What do you think, Dylan?
What type of shape is Cody Merritt in right now? That's my only
Same shape
question.
he's always in. Big.
Big.
Round.
Heavy.
He's our
Man.
number one. All right.
I think I said Faldrin on the last episode. I'm going to change it because I was basing it off Cody's last 3 losses. And then I just realized, I was like, he just faced the top 3 guys in the world. So, God, I just don't, man, I've heard so much. It's like hearing all about Wilton. I've heard so much about Eric too. I'm going to go Cody Merritt. 3-1.
I really hope that you guys are all correct. I really hope Cody can pull it off, but I have an unfortunate feeling that this is going to turn into another one where we see Eric beat Cody and then move on to even bigger matches, and we realize, oh wow, we kind of threw Cody into deep water. I have a feeling that that's how this is going to go again. This is no offense to anyone, but I think Cody might be the top guy at this event left-handed. No offense, Carl. I know you're a great lefty too, but I think Cody on that day might beat any of us in the building left-handed. So
Cody is
I'm sorry, Eric. I think Eric might beat all of us, including Cody, including Travis. So yeah, I'm taking Eric 3-0.
I think you're biased because you're trying to get a dual citizenship in Sweden.
I picked against Swedes, haven't I? Maybe I
Hey,
have.
Chance is another one that's only half Floridian. The other half Swedish.
Born and raised in Florida, Dylan. Where are you from?
Where's your heart at? Where's your heart at, Chance? It's in Sweden.
Florida comes first.
Hey,
Right?
Cody's our number 1 overall left-handed North American, right?
Yes.
Cody. Yeah. Cody is.
Yeah, Cody beat Corey last time they gripped up. That was at the Greg Sharps event.
Yeah, we need him to win, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Another left-handed match. This is like 4 lefts in a row. We have Derek Smith versus Travis Bajent. Carl, I'll let you take it.
Ooh. So the big question, right? Where's Travis at on his training? How serious is he taking it? How much money is involved? Because that would be how serious he's taking it. But honestly, I can kind of a little bit off of Daniel pulled Travis, not too long ago. I want to say it was probably 2.5 months ago. And he said Travis was feeling strong, but just what Travis best is, getting what he wants in the setup and if Travis is getting that, it's a hard day for anybody. He's the GOAT left-handed, right? For a reason. It's just how serious is his training, how serious is he taking it. I do think that there is a lane for, with Derek with his long leverage arms to stop Travis, and that's the big thing, right? To beat Travis is stop Travis on it. Then I've also seen where Derek, though, can get in some elbow foul situations because of how long his arm is. So I believe Travis wins this, but I would not be surprised if Derek finds his lane and gets in it and then wins all the matches. But I do think Travis is what Travis does best and gets everything he wants in the setup and takes the win.
Yeah. Shane, what do you think?
So with Travis, I'm biased on this one because before I ever got on an arm wrestling table, I saw Pulling John, and instantly a Travis Bajent fan. Travis Bajent has been my favorite arm wrestler since before I started arm wrestling. So with that said, Derek Smith, 3-0. Screw you, Travis. He's not taking it serious. You're washed up, has been, never was. Derek Smith, let's go.
Okay. Threw me a curveball there. Dylan, what do you think?
If we got anything close to what the old Travis was, he's going to dog walk Derek. But if he's not, Derek Smith is rated higher in North America than he is right-handed. I believe, and Derek seems pretty confident on the podcast when he talks about his left hand. He may surprise Travis, and that could mess up so many things on the upper level if Travis loses. So I'm on paper, I'm hoping Travis is back because it's going to be great for the sport. Derek cares more about his right hand anyways. Travis Bajent 3-0.
Yeah. I think no matter the outcome, I'm happy with it because we get to either see the return of Travis Bajent and all of the great things that he does for the sport. He brings a lot of eyes to the sport just out of pure entertainment. And if not, we get to see the legend stopped by the huge underdog. Derek's probably like a 95% underdog in this match. So if Derek wins it, it's like super exciting as well. I'm hoping Derek pulls out off the upset, but we'll see. We'll see.
I talk a lot of junk to Travis about Travis, but a lot of it's in jest. I hope he's taking it serious. I mean, truly, as a fan, I hope Travis is coming back in prime condition, prime shape, because he could shake up the entire world rankings.
Yeah.
If you watch the other podcast with him, Devin, Mr. Engin, Brad, Chance, he better hope he is because he's talking a lot of shit.
He's already talking about Camille.
Yeah.
He lacks no confidence, it seems. But Derek is my boy. Like, Derek's awesome. I talk to him all the time. So, yeah, my heart says pull for Derek. I pull for Derek. Let's go. For
me, it would be really bizarre if it went from beating Derek to pulling Camille. Like, that's
huge jump.
That's such a jump. I'd love to see Travis, if he were to beat Derek, move into higher level North America guys, someone like Cody Merritt, Corey West, something like that, and then slowly build into the elite, the top 5 guys in the world like Camille. Let's move into the next match. Second to last match, we have James English versus Auden Larratt. Karl, what do you think?
So I'm going with Auden on this. I do believe James is the power lifter. I mean, I think there's the lane there that he could beat Auden with, but I mean, when you get to train with Devin Larratt, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be very versatile and know how to counter any move that he needs to. I go with Auden Larratt, 3-1, 3-2, maybe, but I think he can attack any way that he needs to get this win.
Fair enough.
James is kind of all inside.
Actually, surprisingly, he has a top roll, a king's move, and a flop press. He doesn't really have too much of a hook, it seems, but yeah. Okay. He likes to be here or like here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that the guy that was pulling around with Larry Wills a little bit in that video?
Yes. Yeah. What do you think, Shane?
What's the rules on that king's move, or is it going to be negative angle on the humerus, or?
Yeah, WAF rules. So if it's a negative angle, it's a stand-up command. If it's not listened to, then it's a stop foul.
Yeah.
Please don't kings move me. Don't kings move me.
I can't. The king's move is ruining everything. I have no king's move. I told you all I have is a hook, man. That's it. Auden is training with Devin. James is powerful, but is he as powerful as like Pork Chop, who he's also training with? So, it looks like he's taking it serious. I don't know if he does anything except for arm wrestle and eat. I got to go. Auden's my guy.
All right,
Auden
fair.
Larrick, 3-0.
3-0.
I do want to point out, like, I hate to say this, but Auden probably is going to get a lot of that because of Devin, right? It's almost like Bronny James and LeBron James in the NBA, right? They're kind of factoring them in together. And I don't want to take anything away from Auden and just say, oh, just because he's Devin's son, he's going to win it. I just think when you have the option to pull Devin probably every single week, multiple times a week, that's the best training partner you could have to learn to attack in any, move that you need to. So I don't want Auden to ever think like, that's my pick as your Devin Loret's son. He's his own man coming into the sport. He's just got the best training partner in the world probably to diagnose his partner or his super match opponent.
Yeah.
I think
I agree.
who you train with is way more important than what you lift or how you lift or, you know what I mean? Like, I think the most important thing in arm wrestling is table time and who you spend that table time with. And Auden's got the best, so.
Yeah. What do you think, Dylan?
I'm going to steal this from the podcast that you were just on and what Neil Pickup said. I don't think either can lose because he made some great points about that. They're both on an upward trajectory. I mean, obviously, Auden with the last name is more so and probably could do more for the sport quicker. So I'm going to hope Auden wins, but I'd really like to see Auden drug into deep waters. I want to just see how much is he learning if James hits some of his power, his real powerful spots. And I want to see Auden win. I think it's going to do great for James either way. He's going to learn a shit ton. But I want to see Auden drug into deep waters. I really hope it's not a 3-0 real fast.
Yeah. I really don't see it being 3-0 super fast because both Auden and James possess a King's move. So if either of them is getting hit, they're going to get super desperate and drop, and we're going to see some sort of war. I hope. I think if it's Auden in a King's move, James is going to do good with it. If it's James in a King's move, Auden might struggle. The reason I say that is Karl knows better than anyone. A flop press is great against the King's move, and James's flop press is super powerful. So I've gripped up with James. I don't know if I've said this on any podcast, but I gripped up with James here in Florida practice. He came out to, and he was actually pinning Daniel Price both arms, and that was like a year ago. So I really think that James has the potential to dominate here, but I'm hoping it's a very, very close match. And win or lose, like we know Auden is pushing forward, but I hope if James doesn't come out with a victory here that he continues in our sport, because anytime we have an influencer or someone with a big following in arm wrestling, all it does is help us.
Sure.
Daniel Price is a bad dude.
Yeah, he is. Now, listen, it was a practice. It's not like ready goes and stuff, but in my eyes, if you're pinning that guy, you're definitely far from an amateur.
Yeah.
This is going to be Auden's biggest test.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be huge. So, like I said, I don't think either can lose. One's going to learn so much by losing, and the other is going to get pushed to his limits and learn a whole bunch by winning. So,
what would you say if James faced the arm whisperer guy?
I think James would destroy him.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty easily.
The Whisper's small.
Yeah.
He's not a big guy.
Yeah, no disrespect to him, but he's a 154 guy, maybe like somewhere around top 20, top 15 in North America. And now we're talking about guys that are over 200 pounds.
Well, yeah, I was just kind of, that's Auden's most recent match, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
So
I was just kind of, how big of a jump is Auden taking to this from him to James in a super match?
Yeah.
How tall is James and how tall is Auden?
Auden is 6'2", I believe, 6'3", somewhere around there. James is 5'9".
Okay.
Yeah. So James is definitely not going to win the height. That's almost certain. Let's get into the very final match, the headliner match. We have Brad Grundy versus Matt Mask, best of 5 right-handed, 231 pounds. Karl, what do you think of this?
Every time I think that Brad is not the favorite to win. He proves me wrong, especially versus Pavlo. I actually, I actually thought Brad could win that match 3-2 with Pavlo winning the first two matches and out enduranceing Pavlo. But what was it, 3-1? Ended up being 3-1, or yeah.
Pablo
So
won the first round.
that was impressive. But Matt Mask's style could give Brad some fit. I believe they both have a lane to win the match. If they get in their lane, it could go 3-0 either way. I do believe Matt Mask is going to win this match, but if Brad wins this match, I'm not going to be surprised because he keeps winning matches that everybody's counting him out in, right? So, I mean, I know he's training hard. I'm 231. I mean, last time I saw him, I didn't realize he was that close to the weight.
He's
He must.
250 right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's
So,
doing like a 20-pound water cut.
I mean, how much of that does that take an effect with him?
I
I
did
mean,
that cut. 250 to 231 one time. It's a big one.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a big water cut, but if you're able to execute it right, it gives you a huge advantage. You get to weigh in the day before at 231, and then day of you get to be 250, 255.
Because
Where
Matt
Matt,
Mask right now is like 229. Like he's already lower than the weight cap already.
yeah. Matt gets to walk into the weight. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
that could be a disadvantage or an advantage depending on how well it's done.
I mean, if there is a style that could go out there and beat Brad Gundy, I feel like it's Matt Mask's styles, right? So this is a very great see who stylistic match. I'm going to pick Matt Mask as the favorite, but wouldn't be surprised if it goes the other way.
All right. What do you think, Shane?
Matt Mask, I think, is obviously the favorite. But I'm a fan of Brad Grundy. I think he's extremely intelligent. I don't think he would get rattled by Matt's antics. I think he's very analytical. I could see him losing one or two rounds and still coming back to win. That's what I hope happens. Huge test for Brad, though. Once again, my head goes Matt, heart goes Brad Grundy. So hopefully Brad pulls it out.
Yeah, we'll see. What do you think, Dylan?
I've said this a few times, but like against Pablo, Matt Mask's going to take round one, and Brad is going to make those adjustments. And he's going to feel what he's going to feel in the setup. He's going to know what to do because he's such a technician. He's just so good at adjustments. The only problem is going to be Matt Mask's hand. How much is that hand going to be? Is it going to be just way too much for Brad to handle? Because Brad's only downfall, and me and him's talked about it, so I don't mind saying it because he'd agree with it. If he's pulled outside of his lane, Brad doesn't give up, but Brad, he's got a lane and he loves that lane. And if he's pulled out of it, he'll just be like, oh, let's just restart and let me make an adjustment. Matt Mask will fight ugly. He doesn't care, and he'll stay in the battle and grind. So because of that, I will give the edge to Matt Mask, but man, all the love for Brad, and I really hope he pulls it off because he's been nothing but more than helpful along my journey coming up and just helping me. So I really hope Brad proves me wrong, and I hope he pulls it off, and I'll be rooting for him.
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone knows on paper Matt Mask is the favorite. I mean, no one's going to claim that Brad has bigger wins or more accomplishments than Matt. Like Brad is the underdog here. I will say that in practice, what I felt from Brad like 2 weeks ago, is more than I've ever felt from Matt Mask in practice. Like Brad felt to me stronger than I've ever felt Matt. I've gripped up with Matt a few times, and Brad like extremely impressive. However, Brad is only that impressive in his lane, because if you push Brad outside of that, just like Dylan was saying, it goes from 100 to like 20. It's a huge gap. So my only worry in this match is if Matt is too fast and pushes Brad out, Brad is not going to have an answer. I think that this match could look very lopsided, but it could look lopsided in either direction. I'm going to give it to Brad 3-1. But again, I won't be surprised with any outcome. The only way I would be surprised is if somehow they were in like a hook war or something crazy, right? Like then I'll be surprised.
not gonna
Yeah.
It's not gonna
Anything
happen.
else? Matt was talking about he's going to hook Brad. So if that
He's-
actually happens, then I would be surprised. But yeah, anything that happens outside, I won't be sure.
I don't think neither of them guys have ever trained a bicep in their life.
Yeah, they're not known for biceps, definitely. But I mean, Matt Mask had a little bit of a like dragging press thing against Frank Lamparelli. So
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, you never know. Anyways, before we hop off of here, I just want to plug the event, of course, thechallengerseries.com. That's where you can get your pay-per-view. That's where you can get your in-person tickets. There might be 1 or 2 VIP slots left. Make sure you go get what you want because day of, the prices of the pay-per-view and the in-person tickets will be higher. So buy them today or tomorrow because day of, you are going to pay a premium. So
please don't complain at me and Chance that it was expensive because we have went from $10 to $15 and then to what it's going to be next, and we've done the same on the general admission tickets. So
yeah. So day of, it's going to be $20 pay-per-view and $50 in person, but it started at $10 pay-per-view and $20 in person. So either way, I think for 15 matches, probably 5 hours of entertainment, it's a good deal, but just take advantage of it. Save yourself some money, support these athletes, support us, and we really appreciate it. Guys, is there anything else you wanted to touch on before we hop off?
Shane, can you send me the video footage of you and Hunter and Austin practice? That'd be great.
We don't video it. We don't video it. But if you call him up, he'll tell you exactly how to beat me. He beats me every week. It's terrible. It's disheartening.
Yeah, but I mean, Hunter is like 270 right now, isn't he?
I think he said 265.
Oh, 265.
Yeah, I think that's what he said.
So he's already started his cut.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Only 100 pounds to go.
Hunter's a bad dude, man.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to seeing y'all on Saturday.
Yeah. I look forward to seeing you guys. I'll see you guys Friday for the press conference. Hopefully, Karl.
Yep.
Yeah.
There.
I don't know. I've been watching all these podcasts. Y'all are going to be real lucky if I get on the airplane because I ain't heard but about 2 people say my name when it came to me versus Karl. So I think I'd be better off just staying home.
Shane, all you need is to believe in yourself, right?
Yeah, well, I believe in Hunter, and Hunter believes in me, so that's all that matters.
Okay. Sorry, what were you saying, Dylan?
A gentleman had asked in the chat, and I didn't want to be wrong because I couldn't remember exactly what size. The autograph shirts, are they all XLs or 2XLs that we ordered for just the signing?
So,
or did we do a barrage and just say,
we did a barrage of sizes.
Okay.
So if you ordered a signed shirt, if you specify the size, we'll make sure that size gets signed and set aside for you. But in general, it'll just be like a random assortment of shirts. Because typically with signed shirts, you don't wear them. You put them up and you hang them up. So we weren't really too concerned about sizes. But if you want a specific size, just message me or Dylan on Instagram. We'll make sure it gets taken care of. Also, someone asked, can we rewatch it that night? Yes, you'll be able to rewatch it. It's not going to be available instantly. It has to render and upload, but after it's rendered and uploaded, you'll be able to go back and rewatch it as many times as you want. Uploads probably won't start for at least a week on the matches. So, like, if you want to see the matches, you're going to have to buy the pay-per-view or wait a week plus. But yeah, it's going to be a great time. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, Chance and Dylan, for putting on such a great event, and I can't wait to be there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I know the production's going to be insane, dude.
Yeah. It like once you guys get there and see it in person, I think you're going to be surprised. Like, I don't want to gas it up too much, but I don't think I can gas it up enough. It's like the guy that I picked to do this. Not only does he own one of the largest production companies, like most badass production companies in Florida, he's also the most diehard arm wrestling fan I've ever met. So it is like his mission to make sure that this event is as good as it possibly can be. So I'm very, very excited. Anyways, thank you guys.